Welcome into Nickerson Hall. The UND Greyhounds are back here in Indianapolis, taking on the 15-6 Truman State Bulldogs. Hi everyone, Giselle Valentine joined alongside Maddie Fisher. We'll hear from our sideline reporter Leticia Vaselli in just one moment in our first ever all-female broadcast. So Maddie, the Greyhounds are coming off a loss against Lewis University. What can they do here today to get back in the win column?
Well, one thing that I've talked to Mark Mitchell a lot this season about, and something that I think we've seen happen in a lot of the games, is that this Greyhound team has trouble playing a good, strong 4 quarters of basketball. Last week in Lewis, in the second quarter, they were outscored 21-9. Things like that are things you can't do if you expect to come out in the win column. So especially to get back on top today, play 4 good quarters of basketball all the way through, good stamina, play a clean game.
All right, thank you so much for your insight, Maddie. So now let's go down on the sidelines with Leticia Vaselli.
Thank you, ladies, and I am so excited for this broadcast because we truly are making history with the first women's only broadcast. In their last matchup in November, Truman State dominated the Hounds 86-57, and I was actually announcing that game, and in that broadcast, they had to be on the lookout for Hannah Bellinger, as she just won the GLVC Player of the Week this past week because of their last games, and that's who they have to look out for again in this game. Back to you, ladies. Let's have a great broadcast.
She said it best, guys. And on that moment, 15 seconds till the national anthem. So on that note, we'll step aside and take a little break. You're watching Greyhound basketball here on UND TV and the GLVC Sports Network. Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
Award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. We have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UND TV News.
Back here at Nickerson Hall, starting lineups are getting underway here, and while we wait on the graphics for Truman State, let's take a look at their starting lineup. The sophomore guard, Gracie Stugart, in the mix, followed by the girl, the name you're definitely going to hear a lot from the most tonight, Hannah Bellinger at guard, the senior guard, followed by Hannah Pinkston, another senior guard. Then the graduate student, Alex Fanning, and the redshirt senior, who we're also going to hear a lot of tonight, Maddie, Ellie Weltha. Now moving on to the UND Greyhounds, Sadie Hill back in the starting lineup. Sophomore guard Alana Wells, followed by junior guard Alani Williams-Harris, and the junior forward Iralis La Flaca Ortiz, followed by the junior forward Lauren With. And Maddie, I know from 1 year ago, you actually had the pleasure of calling this game, Truman versus UIndy. Is there anything that you quite remember from that game?
Well, I think you've already said what I remember. It's Ellie Weltha and Hannah Bellinger. Those were the two major takeaways from that game last year. I mean, two absolutely dynamic and electric women's basketball players. They're so fun to watch, even against UND. I know we're UND TV, we got to root for the home team, but man, are they fun to watch, Giselle.
Yes, indeed. They are they are the top players in the GLVC. Let's go with Hannah Bellinger. She's actually just recently was announced the GLVC Player of the Week for her third time, and Ellie Weltha. So many statistics, which I'll get into later in this game.
I mean, you can barely start. You've
Exactly.
got like a whole post-it notes worth, plus some. I mean, good grief. What can we say about her that her records, her career, her stat chart hasn't said about her already?
Exactly. Truman State is coming off a win against Missouri St. Louis in a very close battle, 72 to 71, while UND is coming off a loss against Lewis after that mini two-game road trip, 68 to 53. As the girls are making their way to center court to the eye of the Indianapolis logo. Tip-off gets underway. It'll be between La Flaca and Alex Fanning, the graduate forward. Whistle is blown, and the tap is won by Truman. Bellinger with a little matchup against Williams-Harris. Bellinger's floater is good.
You know, first person on the board, especially for Truman State. I mean, who else did we expect, Giselle?
That is right indeed. Bellinger coming off in her last game against Missouri St. Louis, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, block, steal, and in 33 minutes as the ball was deflected by Truman, and Stugart will bring it the other way with the handoff pass to Weltha. Her three no good.
Yeah, and that pass there that forced the turnover, those are the kind of mistakes we've seen this Greyhound team making all season. You know, they try to pass it across the court, don't really have the right eye on it, and we end up turning the ball over pretty frequently here.
Stugart will inbound the pass. She finds Bellinger at the arc. Bellinger driving in. Little double team right there. She bounce passes it to Pinkston. No good. Rebounded by Hill. It'll go the other way for the Greyhounds as well. As we'll kind of slow things down early on.
Absolutely, and the Greyhounds do best when they have time to slow down and kind of plan it out before they go towards that basket.
Wells with the overhead pass to Hill. Hill driving in. Bounce pass intended for Flaca, but it goes the other way as that is another steal for Truman. Fanning with the little shot, but it is no good as she was fouled on that end. That will send her to the charity stripe.
Really strong defensive stance there by Lauren With. Was in the right place, just got a little too much contact.
The last game for Fanning, the graduate student, she only had a quiet night, 6 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and 1 steal in only 26 minutes. She currently is 18th in the GLBC when it comes to rebounds and 14th in assists, 8 in blocks and 13th in defensive rebounds. Oh my gosh, Maddie, that was quite a mouthful.
I know, I was wondering when you were going to take a break there.
with jumper, no good. Rebounded by Pinkston. And she'll go their way. Little crossover move right there with the overhead pass to Weltha. Back to Fanning behind the arc. Fanning looking for her options. Overhead pass to Weltha at the low end. Weltha in the Hill matchup, and Weltha gets the victory right there for the easy 2.
Yeah, another thing I remember about Ellie last year, she's one of those players who fights for every single basket. If she sees a lane to it, she'll get up there.
Talk about this backcourt duo, this front court duo with Wells and Williams-Harris, Maddie. I really like just seeing both of them, and they have so much speed, so much aggression, and they're not afraid to get up and get in people's way.
Oh yeah, definitely the quickest girls on the court.
That will be a timeout on the floor. Mark Mitchell not happy with what he sees. So on that moment, we'll take time and step aside. You're watching Greyhound basketball here on UND TV and the GLPC Sports Network.
Award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. We have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UND TV News.
What are you gonna have?
Back here at Nickerson Hall, Truman with the early 6-0 lead with 7:46 left in this first quarter. And Maddie, like you mentioned, Truman is just coming off hot and steady already and kind of proving a threat for the Greyhounds team.
That's the kind of team that they are, and when you want to look at them, you just see the high scoring. But the one thing that you don't always pick up on in those charts is how tough they play defense. They already have 2 forced turnovers already in this contest, and I mean, we're not even 3 minutes in.
And speaking earlier, Truman is coming off a win. They've actually won 8 of their last 9 contests. Stuger driving in, little crossover move. It looks like it'll be a foul on Alana Wells, her first, team second. Stuger will once again inbound the ball for the Bulldogs. Finds Ellie Weltha, who passes it off to Pinkston. Pinkston to Fanning with the little turnaround jumper, and that's good.
Yeah, one thing that I've noticed about Truman State now, this is the second time I've seen this women's team play, they are the type of people where if the shot's contested, they don't care. They're still going up.
An open Liv Becker just can't able to get that little layup going. It was a little too strong off the front iron. And Hannah Pinkston might as well pack her bags and go on vacation because she was called for the traveling. See what I did there?
I did. Shaking my head. Very dad joke of you.
Hey, I got to bring them out and I got to use them somehow.
In full force today.
Flacca to Becker, who passes it back to Flacca. She thinks about it. She goes for the shot, and it's rebounded by Pinkston. And the Greyhounds not getting anything going offensively so far. Fanning from downtown. And man, draining it from 3 as Truman now gets the 11-0 lead. Another turnover by the Greyhounds. This time Pinkston decides to go from downtown. A little too strong right there, rebounded by Wells. She'll take it the other way. Wells with the pass to Becker. Takes a step at it and shoots it, but no good.
Yeah, I almost wished on that last possession there that the Greyhounds would have taken the time to slow down, tried to reset a little bit, because one thing about this team is that when they start off cold, they don't warm up until they hit that first shot. So I think slowing down and trying to get it in there is going to be probably the best move right now.
We're seeing some substitutions on both sides. The junior the junior guard for the Truman State Bulldogs, Claire Raitt, checks in. The graduate student, Maya Scheidt, and the freshman forward, Jada Patton, now checking in for the game for the Greyhounds. Bellinger's jumper, it's in, and another unanswered point from UIndy as they just can't get things going defensively. Ball was almost deflected, but Jada Patton recovered it. She shoots and she scores. Stop the bleeding for the Greyhounds.
Man, she's come in this freshman season. She's been electric. She's really fun to watch, Giselle.
She is definitely indeed, but another player fun to watch, as we just saw, Ellie Weltha, her shot no good. Now it goes the other way for the Greyhounds. Becker with the overhead pass to Patton, almost deflected, but Becker saves the day. Mark Mitchell yelling at his girls, telling them what play to do. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Wells goes down in the paint for the easy two.
I mean, the elusive Alana Wells. I mean, she gets a little area to sneak through. She's gold.
Like that, the elusive Alana Wells. I see the little iteration right there. Weltha's three, a little too strong right there. My Scheidt with the overhead pass to Patton. I thought they were playing football. I thought this is the wrong sport here, Maddie, but it goes the other way for the Greyhounds.
Again, another kind of drive that could have been completely different if the motion had slowed.
Ooh, Bellinger making her way through traffic to get that layup going. That was a great shot right there.
Yeah, and the frustration on Mark Mitchell, he thinks her arm whacked into Lauren with a little too much there on the way up, but
Patton finds an open Liv Becker on the low block, and Liv Becker getting her first 2 buckets of the game. Stugart looking at head coach Theo Dean to slow things down here a bit. Easy go look shot from Weltha, and she just makes it look so easy and just so effortlessly.
Really does.
I'm gonna call her the effortless Ellie. I see what you see what I did there. Wells from downtown, almost rebounded by Patton, but Fanning decides not today as it goes to Truman's way. Ooh. Little aggressive action right there as Patton was almost able to escape with the steal, but it'll go the other way.
Yeah, and these GLVC matchups get a little chippy sometimes because, you know, not only is this just another game on the schedule, you know, this has implications, especially when it comes to conference rankings and things later on down the road.
Sadie Hill checks back in the game for Lauren With. She'll take some time to sit on the bench. Hill finds Becker, but that's going to be no good. That shot is deflected. And now Truman will take it the other way.
Yeah, again, Truman State just very relaxed. They're in the driver's seat of this game, and they're very aware of that as well.
Seeing some substitutions for Truman State as we're seeing the first appearance of the redshirt sophomore Gracie Neff in the mix. And now it will be Greyhounds possession as Patton will inbound the ball.
And that's going to get them their first turnover of the contest so far. So Greyhounds starting to bite back.
Wells to Becker. Becker to Scheidt in the corner. A little too strong right there. Rebounded by Neff as she'll bring the ball up the court. In her last game, she only had 2 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist in only 14 minutes. Kind of a player who quietly makes some noise. As now it'll go the other way. And now it's going to be UIndy this time.
Little turnover there by Niemeyer. Looks like she took that extra step. She needs to pack her bags too, Giselle.
Yes, she does. Might as well just go on vacation with Hannah Pinkston, try to find a destination, maybe Florida, perhaps. I don't know. Shite with the pass to Patton. Patton's pass intended for Sadie Hill, but a little too strong right there. And another turnover from the Greyhounds.
Yeah,
As so far, Indy only has six turnovers in the first quarter compared to Truman's 4.
I mean, still, that's a high turnover count for both of these teams already. We know the Greyhounds averaging a high turnover margin on the entire season, 16 in the last game. But this is just a really quick start in that column.
And Truman taking advantage of UND's turnovers, as so far 6 of their points have been off these turnovers as compared to Indy's 0. Neff inbounds the ball, finds Nehmeyer. Rake from the arc. A little too strong, rebounded by Patton. Her speed goes the other way. Oh my goodness. Wells was able to recover and save the ball. Back to Scheidt, who kind of goes a little by the Indy logo. Patton's jumper, she swishes it in.
You know, Jada Patton's really good at those little jumpers. You know, you can count on her for a layup, but when she's got a couple extra feet there, she's pretty much solid there as well.
And another person adding to that vacation, forward Maddie Nehmeyer, called for the traveling. These girls might as well pack their bags and go on some vacation. We're seeing some substitutions for UIndy as Jody Mullins will make her first appearance in today's game. Well, her first appearance today in today's game.
Yeah, now these turnovers are starting to even out. Greyhounds have cleaned it up, and Truman has kind of let it slide.
Oh, no, now the other way, Sadie Hill was charged with the traveling call.
Announcer's curse.
Yes, indeed. 54 seconds left in the first quarter. UND trails by 9. There will be a foul called right there on Truman.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to hit her there with a charge. She ran into a Greyhound with both feet planted. Not a travel, but still a turnover.
Neff will be called with the charge, and it goes the other way for UND. Becker driving in, passes it back to Williams-Harris from behind the arc, and Williams-Harris draining it from downtown.
Williams-Harris is just one of those players that once she gets one behind the arc, you can expect a couple more to just kind of slide off the hand.
She makes it look so easy.
She really does.
17 seconds left of this first quarter, and it looks like Truman State will utilize all their time to get their shot going. Double teamed right there by that Greyhound defense as the whistle was blown.
You know, I got to give credit for the Greyhounds for trying, get the ball back, do something for the end of the quarter, but they got a little too close there, and that is exactly what you don't want to happen. Give Truman State time to kind of figure out what to do next.
La Flaca will check back into the game in place of Patton. 6 seconds left in the quarter. Pinkston from downtown. No good, and that will bring a draw to the end of the first quarter. Truman 17, UND 11. And on that moment, let's go down on the sidelines with Leticia Vaselli.
Hi, ladies. So considering the score and knowing Mark Mitchell, he's not too happy, but obviously he hasn't been yelling as much as he usually does. I think the Greyhounds need to step it up a little bit just in this last timeout that he asked during the quarter. He told the girls to lift up their spirits and keep up the motivation that the game is far from being over. Stay tuned for more action right here on the women's only broadcast on the GLVC Sports Network and UND TV.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
Here in Nickerson Hall, second quarter gets underway here shortly. And Maddie, UIndy in the first quarter, they started off 6-0. I mean, Truman started things off hot early, 6-0, but UIndy kind of slowly making a comeback right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we kind of pointed out that turnover margin, and the Hounds must have hurt us down there because very quickly they cleaned it up, and Truman State was the one turning the ball over, allowing them to, cut a 13-0 deficit into a 17-11 at the end of that first quarter.
We're seeing some new faces for Truman as the forward sophomore Ella Bowman checks into the game. Mullins the other way. There will be a foul called on that play. I didn't get a chance to see it right there. Claire Rake will be drawn with her first foul of the game, and we're seeing some faces check in for the Truman State. They're going back with their starters again. Weltha, Fanning, Stugart, and Pinkston as well.
You have to wonder if Coach Jean is feeling like he's in a little bit of a hot seat there, bringing those starters back.
Nice recovery by Becker. A little bit of a dogfight as she snatches it, but unfortunately she wasn't able to get things going. She was double teamed. That was
a
really hard shot to make right there.
Bulldogs Greyhound, that's a dog fight.
I like it. Fanning gets the two to open up this second quarter. Flaka's shot was good, and now it's only a 6-point lead from Truman State.
Greyhound's in a good position here. They've been applying pressure and doing so cleanly.
Ooh, that was a tough shot as she just threw it right behind her. Pinkston getting the 2 points
I remember Pinkston for a reason. It's those overhead backward layups that are just so crazy to see.
That was a really tough shot, but she just made it look so effortlessly. Now, UIndy will now inbound the ball. Williams Harris finds Mullins. Mullins driving in the little floater, able to get her first 2 points of the game right there.
And one thing about this Greyhound women's team now under the direction of Mark Mitchell, they now kind of share the wealth. We don't always see one person filling up that scoring column. We see everyone get a couple points in every single game. It's really a team effort now.
Fanning just left wide open from behind the arc, but good thing for the Greyhounds, she was not able to knock that one down. Ortiz thinks about it, but she throws it back to Mullen, who throws it back to Williams Harris. 16 left on the shot clock. La Flaca decides to take her shot at it. That's good for 3 right there. As you see on that instant replay, Maddie.
I mean, beautiful. She's not always streaky behind the arc, but, today, making it happen, Captain.
Like that, making it happen, Captain, as Fanning was able to make it happen right there. And Sadie Hill will be called with the foul. And Alex Fanning leading all scorers so far. She currently has 11 points. Like I mentioned earlier, Fanning is just one of the top people in the GLBC, and she leads in so many categories right there. She previously played at Benedict University. the Elmwood Park, Illinois native right there. She was able to sink that free throw easily right there. La Flaca decides to go for it again, and oh my goodness, little hot start for La Flaca.
And she's just looking stellar, stellar behind the arc today.
And now it's only a 3-point lead. Fanning's shot no good. It was rebounded by With. She passes it off to Mullins. Mullins driving in a little bit with a little crossover move. She just throws it in. Looks like it was a pass intended for Flaca, but no good as it goes the other way. Wealtha, she was fouled right there. A little contact with the arm.
Yeah, Mark Mitchell pulling Flaca to the side just to chat with her for a second. I mean, she had a real streak going for her. Defense was looking incredible, and so were her shots, and this is going to probably slow down that Greyhound momentum a little bit.
Wealtha only making her first appearance at the free throw line here today. She only has 4 points so far. If she makes this, it'll be 5, and boom, right there, announcers jinx. And Ellie Wealtha, the Bloomington, Illinois native, previously played at Illinois State University and one of these leaders in the GLVC, Maddie. 6th in scoring, 1st in rebounding, 5th in three-point field goals, 13th in three-point field goals made, 5th offensive rebounds, and 1st defensive rebounds. Oh my goodness, that was a mouthful again. And that's the trend with this Truman State Bulldogs team. They do have players who currently lead in the GLVC is like one of the top players. And that's all thanks to head coach Theo Dean right there on the sideline. Wells was able to get the shot going for the Greyhounds, and now it's still a 3-point lead from Truman State, but now it's getting all close, Maddie. A little close battle right here.
A little close, and I mean, when this game started, you wouldn't have expected us to be here just a few minutes later, but there we go.
Williams-Harris with the crossover move with the left-handed layup, and now it's a 1-point lead from Truman.
This is the closest the lead has been since the start of the contest.
And it'll be over the back violation for Truman. And now we're seeing some light from the Greyhounds here today.
I mean, I think we saw that light when they started this quarter, and they were a lot closer than when they began it.
Yes.
I mean, the thing that I love about Mark Mitchell is that we heard from Leticia earlier when the team was struggling during that timeout. He didn't take the time to criticize. He took the time to tell them, hey, you're not out of this game. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep hyping each other up. The win will come. And right there.
Now UND gets the lead thanks to Jody Mullins' layup right there. And yeah, as you mentioned earlier, and Leticia both, Mark Mitchell is kind of known to kind of get a little bit frustrated. If he doesn't like what he sees, he's quick to call a timeout. But, you know, he was calm to his girls. Like you mentioned, he didn't criticize. It was just an uplifting moment, and it's working in this favor for the Greyhounds as Williams-Harris was able to drain that little jumper right there from the charity stripe, as we see on the instant replay.
Beautiful shot.
Easy going, easy shot, wide open right there. Now UND leads by 3 with 4:43 left in the second quarter. Fanning's pass to Pinkston, who's kind of left wide open. Now it's back to a tied game.
I mean, again, Pinkston, we saw her hit one of those just absolute money threes earlier in this game. Greyhounds shouldn't make that mistake again, leaving her open behind the arc.
So far, Truman only 2 attempts from behind the arc, while as UND's 3 of 8. Little air ball right there for Williams-Harris. It's going to go the other way, and it looks like there's going to be a timeout drawn. We're going to take a timeout and step aside. Things are tied up at 29 apiece. You're watching Greyhound basketball here on UNG TV and the GLVC Sports Network. 4:14 left to play in the second quarter. Things tied at 29 apiece. And just looking by these stats so far, UIndy with 18 points so far in this second quarter and kind of getting their revenge back. And 10 of those points come from their bench. And Maddie,
that was the statistic I was wanting to point out. This Greyhound team, I talked about it, Mark Mitchell, and the depth of his actual bench is incredible, and how many points he's able to pull up off of that bench every single game.
As you mentioned, Mark Mitchell really loves to switch things up with the starting lineup. Every night, it's almost like a surprise. There's no kind of one girl set. He really relies heavily on his bench to provide that spark, and it works out in their favor, as we can see here right now.
I mean, incredible defense by Alana Wells there, and I mean, very earned encouragement from Mark Mitchell on that one.
Flacca's jumper is good as UIndy takes the 2-point lead right there. She just, look right there,
Boom.
able to swish it right there.
Need a sound effect.
Boom.
Or a swish.
Fanning was fouled right there by Flacca. That will send Fanning back to the free throw line again. She's been 3 of 3 from the free throw line here today. Announcer's jinx. Now she's been 3 of 4 from the line right there. But on a positive note for Fanning, she is this leading scorer in today's game with 13 points. Right behind her is La Flaca with a 10.
A really good game for Flacca thus far. I mean, she's just looked so great today.
Indeed, as Mullins' layup right there, just a little too strong there. Now it goes the other way with Stugart in possession of the ball. Stugart pointing out to her girls, trying to set up the play right there. Bellinger with the little step back. No good. Rebounded by Indy, as Wells will slow down things with 2:54 left to play in this second quarter.
Again, this is where the Greyhounds tend to thrive, when they have time to slow down, but that shot from Lauren With was probably a little early, if you ask me.
I agree with you too, just a little too early, a little too strong right there. Pinkston from downtown, a little too strong right there. Rebounded by Flacca, and Scheidt will take it the other way. Mullins is thinking about shooting it, but instead she passes it to Flacca. Overhead pass to With with a little turnaround layup. That is good right
One
there.
thing you can always rely on Lauren With was she's got the height. So anytime you get her under the basket, give her some room to breathe. The layups are coming your way.
Sophomore forward Emma Bowman just finding her way through traffic. Not really. It was just a wide open lane, and she was able to get that right hand layup going. Flacca, little too strong right there, as it was kind of an air ball, if I might say.
Yeah. Regardless, still looking great today. Still up in those leaders with points this afternoon. So hopefully she brushes that one off, doesn't let her affect her too much.
Stugart driving in, takes the one-handed shot, rebounded by Scheidt. She just grabs it off easily. With decides to take another step at him, and so far in these last possessions for the Greyhounds, can't really get anything going as it's a little too strong off the front iron. Bellinger, 3, no good. Mullins decides to take it coast to coast for the left-hand layup right there, and she was called. There was a foul call on Truman. It will be on Emma Bowman, her first, and the team's third. Seeing some substitutions for the Greyhounds as Caitlin Krebs will check in for the game for tonight. As Hannah Pinkston for Truman State will check back into the game for Alex Fanning, as she deserves a well-timed rest off on that bench.
Absolutely. I mean, she's been playing with her heart and soul.
Jody Mullins sinks the first in her last game against Lewis. She only had a quiet night, Maddie. Only 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist in only 15 minutes.
Again, that's kind of a testament to the kind of swip-swap manner of Mark Mitchell. He tries everything he needs to find a good fit, so nothing's ever guaranteed any game.
I like that. It's just like that element of surprise. You never know what you're going to expect, especially here today, as it's just been a really good back-and-forth battle as the shot clock is winding down. Rebounded by Ortiz. Krebs decides to take a shot at it, no good. Mullins was on the other end, and she was yelling at her girls, I'm wide open, I'm wide open. But they just did not see her wide open.
Again, that's another thing when they don't take their time, they miss open Greyhounds very often.
And so far, it's just been a really back and forth 3-point battle, but both teams are not really getting anything going so far in the second quarter as the shot clock winds down, 12 seconds left as the Greyhounds look to use this possession. Now is a little too strong right there, and it goes the other way for Truman. And Stuger just throws it up in the air, close. And it was no good as UIndy ends the first half as leaders, 35-32. And on that moment, we'll step on the sidelines with our sideline reporter, Leticia Vaselli.
Ladies, Mark Mitchell emphasized high lifting shots during this second quarter instead of taking the riskier options, and he was very relieved when Wells finally listened and scored for the Greyhounds. Faster reactions is another demand by the coaching staff. As soon as the girls rebound, they have to sprint to the other side of the court and take the shot. As the incredible leader that Sadie Hill is, she does a wonderful job at motivating the girls, reassuring they're doing a good job. We'll be right back. Stay tuned right here on the Women's Only broadcast. You're listening to GLVC at Sports Network and UIndy TV.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela Burgess.
An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela Burgess.
An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org/opportunity.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Well, it's so many memories, I would say. I think the things that when my teammates and I get together, what we enjoy the most, I think, are just all the stories, all the things that happen between us playing against some of the best schools. You know, we played some Division I schools. We beat Eastern Illinois twice. A thrill for a Division II school to go in and to beat a Division I school. And I think we remember, you know, feeling like kind of the David versus Goliath. And that's what I think we realized, if you can come together as a group, you know, that you can have success. Well, I think any competitive person, it's tough. But I still look at it today. You know, it's been 30 years since I played competitive basketball, and in the business world and the education world, you lose, and things happen, and you go back to your playing days, and you got knocked down, and you got to get back up. So that was kind of our mantra. I think to have dreams. I just, as a little kid, I had dreams that I wanted to do something athletically, you know, and basketball was my passion. And so I don't care what it is, do something that you like, that you're passionate about. That to me is the most important thing, and then work to achieve it. And if you work hard enough at it, I think your dreams can come true, even when people tell you it'll never happen. And that to me was kind of the David versus Goliath thing. Yeah, and it's a cliche, but I do think life is a game. Life is a competition. And I think I was prepared because I competed in college, and I say the same thing to people. You kind of those same attributes. You have to work hard, you have to practice what you want to do, and you have to believe in yourself, and you have to have those dreams, and you put that package together, and I think it's a pretty good package for success. Hi, I'm Larry Tucker. I'm a former NCAA student athlete from Lewis University.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor.
It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
I pledge.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Second half action gets underway here at Nickerson Hall. It's been a back and forth battle between both these teams, Maddie. UND currently leads 35, Truman 32, and it's been really a close neck and neck battle. And kind of, what were your thoughts about the first half from both sides of the floor?
Well, when it started out, looking at UND, I was a little nervous. You know, they turned over the ball 6 times within a span of roughly 5 minutes, and that's not a good start, especially for a team that tends to consistently lose when their turnover margin is over 15. That tends to be that threshold, and I mean, they're approaching it quickly so far today. But I think Mark Mitchell, whenever they took that timeout right at the beginning of the second quarter, and he said, look, it's not looking great, but we have the whole game to turn this thing around. Don't give up yet. I mean, that's kind of where I think a switch flipped, and now they went into the half up 3 points. But Truman State, they are the top dogs, I mean, quite literally, in the GLVC, and they have been for a while. They have a really strong front that not only can consistently put up scores on offense, but they also have a very strong presence on defense, and it has led them to do well just on both sides of the ball. So I'm interested to see how this second half plays out, Giselle.
Yes, it's definitely going to be a really interesting second half. As you mentioned earlier, it's literally a dogfight between both these teams as Stuger drives in, finds an open Alex Fanning, and Fanning gets 2 more points added, and now she currently leads all scorers with 15 again.
I mean, I'm not even surprised. You know, she's just such a force on this court, man.
Ortiz passes it to Wells, who passes it to With. Finds Williams-Harris, her 3 no good. Flacca rebounds it with the offensive rebound, gets the putback right there.
Yeah, and I mean, the Greyhounds, I think we're going to see a lot of back and forth action the rest of this game. We talked about it towards the end of the second quarter, but I mean, it's already started, and as long as both teams keep up strong stamina and consistency, and yeah, wow.
Right there.
Very clear chart.
Clear as day, crystal clear. This will go the other way for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, Hannah Bellinger had a lot of momentum there. I mean, but when you've got Alana Wells blocking you 2 feet planted, running into her is a definite turnover.
Will be Truman's first turnover of this third quarter, with driving into the left side of the block. There was some contact right there. She thought she was fouled. So does Mark Mitchell right there.
I know. I mean, her disbelief was almost comparable to Mark's because his arms went up in the air. But I did want to point out something I mentioned earlier talking about turnovers. I talked about how quickly the Greyhounds racked them up, but they've cleaned it up. 7 turnovers to Truman's 9. This is one of the first times where the Greyhounds have actually been winning a turnover battle.
Wells from deep. Ooh. Shot clock expired, but Ortiz was able to tip the ball and save the day, and it finds the hands of Williams-Harris. The little crossback. Finds Ortiz. Ortiz with the one-handed hook shot. Man, what a night from Ortiz so far. That Flacca. I just love saying that.
I have a feeling I think that might be your favorite name on the team.
I absolutely love it. 7:59 left to play in this third quarter. Hannah Bellinger kind of double team, finding her way through traffic, but she was able to get that shot going.
Yeah, and again, I think the reason she's such a high scorer and such a threat is because she's able to read a court.
Becker with the assist to With, who was able to get that floater in for the Greyhounds. Now it is a 5-point lead from UIndy. And things look like it's in favor of the Greyhounds, as it was another turnover by Truman. So Becker's going to inbound the ball. She finds Wells, who's going to bring things up the court right here.
Yeah, and she's taking the time now to slow things down, because we know that when the Greyhounds start to make good stuff happen, they get really excited, they get quick, and that's where the mistakes begin.
Wells finds With. With is thinking about passing, but instead she shoots it from the charity stripe, and good luck right there. She was able to get that on that instant replay. Just easy buckets.
Beautiful stuff.
So far, Lauren With kind of having a good night as well. 6 points so far in today's contest in only 16 minutes. Now Flocka will be charged with the foul, and that's going to send Fanning again to the free throw line. At this point, she's just been living there. Might as well park a tent right there and just camp out there.
Yeah, I think,
Truman was able to recover that ball.
Yeah, I think with her strong shooting so far in this game, they just kind of backed off the basket expecting that one to go right in, and unfortunately gave them that whole possession right there to make money, and that's what they did.
Bellinger's three lit up this Truman State bench, as now it's a 2-point possession. Stuger going coast to coast the other way. Weltha being guarded by With and able to get that going, and With will be called with the foul, and Truman's bench is electric and they are up on their feet. Head coach Theo Dean kind of smiling right there, getting his girls back in the groove of things, and so far Truman's kind of finding the rhythm in this third quarter, Maddie.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's another 3-point play opportunity that they capitalized on. I mean, the first time wasn't even with 3 points, it was with 4. But, I mean, right now the Greyhounds probably feeling a little trapped. You know, you just had some rough things go against you, and now here they are turning the ball over again, going back the other way. I feel as quickly as the tide turns for this team, it will turn back the other way.
So far in this third quarter, Truman has had 2 turnovers compared to UIndy's 0, but in this entire contest, Truman does lead in that turnover category 10-7. Another 3-point shot right there from Truman, and now they get the 4-point lead. Things are not looking quite well for the Greyhounds. They're kind of losing steam a little bit, Maddie.
Yeah, and that's what I touched on pregame. It's that if they want to win, they need to play a good 4 quarters of basketball. We usually see them do pretty well in a couple, but there's always one quarter where they start to falter, and this might be the one today.
La Flaca's mid-range jumper kind of stops the bleeding a little bit. Kind of slowly ripping off the Band-Aid. Now we're seeing Sadie Hill check back into the game for the Greyhounds, as Lauren With will take some time to step aside and go back to the bench. Truman will inbound the ball. Stugart finds Weltha. Weltha with the pass to Fanning, almost deflected by Hill, but her shot goes in. Becker was just wide open, just a little too strong there, had a good idea. The shot wasn't able to get in. Goes the other way for Truman. Bellinger fighting her way through traffic. That's no good. It's rebounded by Hill. Wells with the layup right there. And
I mean, she just has a fight in her like no one else I have ever seen. Even in the games where she's not, you know, the most dominating in any category, her fight, I mean, I can't speak on it enough. And her character as well. She's such a wonderful young woman.
Yes, indeed. She's just like, once again, I really love this duo between Williams-Harris and Wells. They're just so fun to watch. It's just so exciting to see because they both are very similar players, yet different at the same time. Their speed is like no other. And like you said, you know, even in times when they're not maybe playing the best that they normally do, they still, you know, go out and give it their all. And it looks like there will be a timeout right here. So we'll take a timeout and step aside. Truman leads 49, UND 47. Only 4:08 left in the third quarter. You're watching Greyhound basketball here on UND TV and the GLBC Sports Network.
Award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. We have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UND TV News.
A testament to the defense.
Truman 49, UND 47 here in Nickerson Hall. Only 4:08 left to play in this third quarter. And Maddie, it's been quite a defensive battle between both sides of the floor, and you found one statistic that really surprised you.
When I watch a lot of these women's basketball games, especially because a lot of the heights are more evenly matched, you don't see as many blocks, but we've got 3 already in this contest, and we're not even through the third quarter yet. So I think that really speaks to the level that these young women play, especially when it comes down to these really high-stakes conference matchups.
Fanning yet again at this free throw line. She's really loving it. She misses her first, but drains the second. We see some substitutions for Truman as Fanning will take time to step aside, and in for her is the sophomore forward, Maddie Nehmeyer. We're also seeing some new faces for UND as Patton now checks back into the game, as well as Jody Mullins. There's a foul drawn right there. It's going to send Sadie Hill to the charity stripe.
Yeah, and they're going to hit the newly entered Maddie Nehmeyer with that reach-in foul there. Now giving the Greyhounds a chance to make something happen, not only, you know, trying to get another point, but it feels like once they get one score, a couple more will come right after it.
Sadie Hill last game kind of was really quiet than we're normally used to seeing her. Only 6 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist and steal in only 23 minutes. And she's kind of having a bit of a same night here as well. She's only had, these are her first 2 points of the game, surprisingly, in these only 10 minutes. She drains both of them, and now Truman still with the 1-point lead. Bellinger's 3, a little too strong right there. Patton going coast to coast in the lane. Her little floater. It's a little too strong right there. Now goes the other way on this fast break. Little content as both Patton and Bowman fall on the floor.
There, yeah.
Yes, hit the deck. Thank you. I can't talk right now.
It's all good. And again, we just talk about the athleticism, but also with athleticism, you got them button heads. There's tension in these GLVC games, but again, I'm glad that this is one of those reffing core groups that kind of has let the girls play. It gets a little aggressive, but I prefer a reffing group that kind of lets them get a little tough and doesn't stop the play very frequently, and I'm glad we've seen a pretty quick moving game today.
I agree with you, Maddie. It's a good rivalry between both these teams. Currently UND does lead their all-time series with Truman 10-9, and earlier, Patton did check out of the game, and she and Coach Mark Mitchell had like a nice heart-to-heart conversation. And once again, the TC is saying what you've been saying pretty much all game is he yells, but it's more of a teaching moment. He really does care about his girls, and he really does care about their player development, and it truly does show for this Greyhound team. Mullins, she wanted that shot to go in. She's a little frustrated. She hits the little mat, but that will send her to the free throw line.
And one thing I want to point out real quickly, looking at the Greyhounds' current 5 on the floor, Sadie Hill's still in. She is approaching some foul trouble. She's got 3. Jada Patton just checked back out. She's also sitting at 3 so far in today's contest. So something to watch as we get closer to this fourth quarter.
I think that's once again to that defensive battle, as we were mentioning. It's just been back and forth, high energy, very tough. It's nice college gritty basketball. And Rake, the junior guard from Greenwood, Indiana, able to get that 3 going for Truman, and now it's a 4-point lead. It's just been truly a back and forth battle between both these teams, as I keep mentioning. Mullins decides, you know what, I'm going to take that 3 instead.
Anything you can do, I can do better, she says.
Exactly. Mullins has been such a fun player to watch all season. She really does provide a spark, whether she is a starter or off the bench, and she's just been proven to be one of those reliable players for the Greyhounds.
And even though she transferred in, she's really blended into the culture in the locker room very well.
Yes, and I love this chemistry between all these girls. We have some newcomers with this team. They did lose a lot last year, but like you mentioned, their chemistry is just blending well. It feels like they've been playing forever, as Hill gets the easy 2 right there. And man, Maddie, I'm literally on the edge of my seat, as
You're
you
not
can
even
see.
on your seat. Oh, you are.
Yeah, I got a knee sitting on my seat right here. Is going to be a foul on Mullins, and Mullins will check out of the game. In for her is Liv Becker, and the junior guard from Indiana, the Hoosier native, Claire Rake, goes to the free throw line. And she is 13th in the GLVC when it comes to 3-point field goals made. Her last game, she had 9 points and 1 rebound, only 20 minutes. I don't know if it's just me, Maddie, but I love to see some Hoosier natives just come back.
Oh, I do too.
To Indianapolis.
Anytime you have a hometown person and you see like their family show up, it's so awesome. Regardless of who, I mean, it's just so fun. I love it.
It's so fun right there. She was not able to get that second free throw going. Only 1:10 left in this third quarter. 13 left on the shot clock. Goes for the 3 right there.
But net, let's watch it again. Do it again.
She does it again, Maddie. Right there. Swish. Now it's another. Ooh. Looks like With was going to take that ball, but it's going to be UND's ball right there. She almost stole it, but either way, it's going to UND.
I honestly think it's a little better that it flew out of bounds there, because this forces the Greyhounds to take the time to reset their offense before they head into territory. I mean, again, I mentioned it earlier, when they get a good start going, that was really strong momentum going up, taking the lead again with this back and forth battle. But when they get that momentum, that's when they start to get a little messy on the court. A couple mistakes start to appear, so it's good that Alana Wells taking the time to make sure that her offense is set, checking it with Mark Mitchell.
And Mullins now back in the game. She only on the bench for a minute. Going down through traffic and through lanes. Mark Mitchell telling the girls to get back really quickly.
Oh, man.
And now there's only 20 seconds left in this third quarter. No time left on the shot clock, and it looks like Truman will utilize this full time to get a shot going. Neff taking her time with the ball, finds Bellinger. Bellinger double teamed by With and Becker. No good right there, and it looks like it was out of bounds for Truman. Excuse me, that will be a foul on Liv Becker.
Yeah, I think they're going to get her there with that real reach and swat there, trying to pull the ball away from Ellie Welfa.
I apologize for that. There was so much action I could not see. I thought somebody stepped out of bounds, but Welfa will go to a free throw line. Misses her first, excuse me. That will bring an end to the third quarter. UND 61, Truman State 58. And on that moment, let's go down on the sidelines with Leticia Vaselli. Leticia, take it away, girl.
Ladies, what a tight game that it is. So let me play Mark Mitchell for a second. He goes, girls, you need a rebound, and if you don't rebound, how are you going to win this game? His exact words. Coach Chowers also said to find a substitute for Flocka because she is tired. Don't go anywhere just yet because you'll hear from Mark Mitchell after this game is over, and we'll find out who gets to take this dub tonight. You're watching GLBC Sports Network and UND TV.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
Fourth quarter action here at Nickerson Hall. And you know what? I want to give a shout out to our awesome sideline reporter, Leticia Vaselli, with her impression on Mark Mitchell. And Maddie, the Oscar nominations just were recently announced. Where was Leticia in this mix, Maddie?
I don't know, but she honestly, I think it struck a chord with my heart. It was a beautiful performance.
I agree. That was awesome, as we'll hear from her shortly with her post-game interview with Mark Mitchell. That was a clean block by Fanning. It's going to go the other way for the Greyhounds, and one of the assistant coaches for the Greyhounds a little upset with one of the refs because he thought
that
there was
one
a foul.
Should have been going the other way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It looked like it right there, too. Either way, it is Truman's ball as Stugart, kind of by the Indianapolis logo, passes it to Rake on her left-hand side. Rake to Fanning, who with the overhead pass to Weltha. Weltha with another assist to find Bellinger on the right.
Dynamic duo.
Yes, they have been. I'm going to call them the GLVC dynamic duo because both of these, like you mentioned earlier, they've been so fun to watch. I actually called the game last year for radio, and both these girls, they know what they're doing. They just, huge matchup against these Greyhounds.
All dog.
Yes, I love it.
It's okay. Pull that one out of my high school pocket there.
I love it. We're going back and forth with our little catchphrases. As UIndy now gets the lead by 3 points. 8:33 left in this quarter. In this game, pretty much. Was recovered by Stugart. Stugart going all the way around. Handoff to Rake. Rake from downtown, a little too short.
And that rebounding right there is what has consistently kept UIndy out of the game. That was now the third time that Truman picked up their own offensive rebound there when the Greyhounds could have taken it away and been on the other side of the court by now. There we go.
With the turnaround jumper, no good. Goes the other way. Mullins fighting her way against Rake, and she wins the matchup as Mullins was able to get those 2 points going. As you can see right there, boom.
Got that fight in her.
The little bank shot right there.
Boom.
5-point lead from the Greyhounds, 7:42 left to play in this game. Bellinger misses another three from downtown. And at this point, it looks like both teams are kind of being a little inconsistent from the three-point line, Maddie.
I mean, when the motions get high, it's hard to key in on a hard shot. Tough shot like that is the hardest shot for a reason.
As I mentioned, the three-point line from both teams tonight, but they do tie with three-pointers that both teams do have 5 points apiece in that category, which You would think it would be different, but I guess it's the same right there. As that 3 from Fanning, too strong again. Maya Scheidt goes the other way. Scheidt kind of wanted to slow things down, finds Sadie Hill from open behind the arc. And that right there was an air ball. A little too strong right there again. And on that moment, it looks like there's going to be a timeout on the floor, and we're going to step aside and take one too. You're watching Greyhound basketball here on UND TV and the GLBC Sports Network. Hall, UND with the 5-point lead, 65, Truman 60, 6:51 left to play in this game, and Maddie, from start to finish, it's been truly a dogfight. UND was kind of a little slow at start. Truman had an early 6-0 lead, but once again, Mark Mitchell, really just his pep talk. I don't know what he said, but I guess that motivated them.
Well, I think we'll
to
find
go
out
around.
from our sideline reporter, Leticia, if you don't see her beautiful pinkalicious jacket on over there. We're all wearing pink today in honor of the special occasion. If you're just tuning in, this is the first all-women's sports broadcast for UND TV. All of our staff is fitted in pink today. This is super exciting, and I'm so glad that you and I really got to head this project, get it put together, because this has just been awesome, Giselle.
This has been so awesome, and this could not have happened with our amazing general manager for UND TV, Rick Dunkel, and the executive producer as well, Nathaniel Finch, as he's the sports director. And we really do thank you both for giving us this amazing platform to show what we got.
What we got, absolutely. And I think that's one of the reasons we love going to the school we go to, the opportunities.
Yes, the opportunities are endless for us. And for both of us, we're just women in sports. We really love what we do. And I hope this game, for young people watching right now, I hope it can inspire people to really just go for their dreams and just don't be afraid. And hopefully, you know, with this Women's All broadcast, it's the new norm.
Exactly, and if it's not easy to do it, then that doesn't mean it'll be worth it in the end.
Exactly.
The harder you fight, I mean, the better the reward. It's always been that way.
As that will be a turnover from Truman. She was called with the traveling. Pack your bags, girl. Oh, Liv Becker did step out of bounds right there. I saw a little foot on the black.
Yeah, Mark Mitchell can get a little, I mean, first of all, let's talk about the fit.
I love it.
I love the fit, but, I mean, he definitely did not love what just happened there.
You never really see Mark Mitchell in all white. I think it's cool.
I think it's a statement.
I think so, too. It's very bright, and it's kind of blinding my eyes. But you know what? It doesn't matter. You know what? It doesn't matter.
Might be the screen behind him.
It probably is. I think that's what it is. Fanning, looking at her options, wants to shoot it, but instead decides to pass it to Stuger. Only 8 seconds left of the shot clock. Fanning, open rake right there. Thank goodness for UND that she wasn't able to get that going. It'll go the other way. They just left her wide open right there.
I mean, really, had that gone in, that would have been one of the biggest mistakes they make, especially considering where we are in the game.
That would have been a different story right here, Maddie. Liv Becker's shot is no good, and it goes the other way. Hannah Bellinger and the Alani Williams-Harris little matchup right there. Bellinger's jumper, too strong, rebounded by Williams-Harris. Finds Scheidt. Scheidt with the left-hand layup, and it is in. And now it's a 7-point lead. Look at this instant replay right there. Maya Scheidt just able to do it so effortlessly.
Giselle, that is the shot right there that ends just over 4 minutes of a scoring drought. She found the water, and she made it drip out of the basket there.
Fanning decides, you know what, I'm going to get a little revenge on you, and decides to get the easy 2 going. And now it's still a 5-point lead for UND. I'm sorry, it took me a moment. I am not a math major whatsoever.
No, that's why we're in communication, baby.
Shite from downtown.
Coach Jower's frustrated with that whistle blow. If you caught him there in the background.
He's been kind of frustrated with these calls that these refs have been making pretty much all night. There's going to be a timeout on the floor, and we'll step aside. You're watching Greyhound basketball on UND TV and the GLBC Sports Network.
So, ladies, during the timeout, Mark Mitchell told the girls to find a gap because there is one. And if there isn't one, he made Sadie Hill responsible for doing that to help out the other girls find a better shot selection. And also, just now, he said for the girls not to settle and to keep trying. We'll be right back for the last 4 minutes of this game on the women's only broadcast on GLBC Sports Network and UND TV.
UND has the 5-point lead, 4:13 left in the fourth quarter. Maddie, what have been your thoughts so far on this performance from both sides in this fourth quarter?
In this fourth quarter, we just kind of quenched a 4-minute scoring drought. Finally, the defense has been so strong that we haven't seen anything go through the net in a while. So I think, again, this is really speaking to the testament and the level that these collegiate athletes play, especially when it matters.
Fanning driving her way, and looked like it was a clean block on Hill, and Hill is definitely not happy with that. Looks like she's saying some words that we cannot repeat on air.
I'm up here watching that, and I'm kind of with Sadie Hill there. That looked like a pretty clean block
right there.
Maybe her fingers curled over just a little bit to where they could have fouled her for it, but that's a really close call.
That is a close call, and Hill will go back to the bench, and Truman, that kind of worked in their favor right there as Fanning goes back to the free throw line. She sinks the first, she sinks the second. The 3-point lead again, still a 3-point lead from UND. 3:50 left to play. We have so many children right behind us, and it's just everybody's just analyzing in this game, and this has been such a fun battle to watch despite the outcome on either side. This is good basketball to watch for sure.
I think I figured out what's happening behind us, but I'll wait till we have a moment. All right, the moment I have, this is going to be the Zionsville Middle School. It's their band, and it looks like they're coming to join the UND Pep Band.
That's awesome. That is really cool. We'd love to see it. We got an all-women's female broadcast, first in UND's TV history, and then we got some kiddos helping out with the band. This is great. This is just a great overall night. Only 14 left on the shot clock. The pass was intended for Fanning. She tipped it a little bit, but it's going to go the other way for UND. And if you're Mark Mitchell, Maddie, there's 3 minutes and 9 seconds left to play. You currently lead by 3. What would you tell these girls?
Well, in this huddle right here, I'm telling them you're up by 3. There's 3 minutes left. Plenty of time for that to completely shift. This is the time to tune in. This is the time to take everything we did in practice, make it count.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
Back here in Nickerson Halls, UND 67, Truman 64. Giselle Valentine joined alongside Maddie Fisher with Leticia Vaselli down on the sideline in our first ever female broadcast ever in UND TV history. As now UND will get possession of the ball. And we recently, before we took a timeout, Maddie was saying if she was Mark Mitchell, what would she tell her girls on what to do to close out this game efficiently and get back in the win column?
Absolutely. You're up 3, but that doesn't mean you relax one bit. This is where you take everything in practice and you apply it. You take every correction on the court and you make it count.
La Flaca looked like Dennis Rodman right there with that save. And a foul was drawn. Flaca clapping her hands. Everybody's clapping their hands. I unfortunately was not able to see that possession. It looks like it's going to be called on Truman. And I see Liv Becker making her way to the scorer's board, and she's checking back in for the Greyhounds. And Liv Becker, one of the top 3-point shooters in the GLVC, so it's probably for that sake because she's such a huge offensive threat for UND.
Yeah, and again, her going back in the game, she is foul trouble. 4 fouls for her on the evening.
2:27 left to play in the second quarter. 8 left on the shot clock. Witt decides to shoot it from the 3-point range. It's no good. Fanning decides to take the ball, and she gives it off to Stuger, who goes the other way. The little mismatch between her and Scheidt. Hands off the pass to Bellinger, who just has to throw it in right there, and she is called with the foul, and it's not quite looking good for the Greyhounds right there. They've, like you mentioned, they've been in quite some foul trouble here today. And in these situations, late game situations, you can't afford to make silly errors like that, as Liv Becker will take time and step aside to the bench. In for her is Williams Harris, as she barely got a breather right there.
Yeah, and now we're at the point where Truman, every shot now, they're taking in the bonus. So as much as you want to foul to get the ball back, but at what cost? You know.
Exactly. Bellinger has 23 points, now 24 points in today's game in only 34 minutes, and that's why she's one of the top scorers in this GLVC and a true scorer for this Truman State Bulldogs team.
I mean, wild seeing 2 women on the Truman State squad with 24 points. Well, now Hannah Bellinger with 25, but Alex Fanning Lake behind her with 24.
Let's talk about Weltha. That was a name we mentioned in our pregame show who we thought was going to have quite a performance tonight. But
I think she has. It's just not in the scoring column. Her defense has been superb.
She's not making it. She's not making her shots, but she's making it up in her defensive. And I like that, Maddie. I do. Yeah. It's going to be inbounded by Scheidt. It's going to go for UND. A 1-point lead for the Greyhounds. We're seeing more people line up in attendance for this game, as the men's game will tip off here in about an hour or so. Oh, the clean block from Fanning, and Lauren Witt is clenching her knee right there. That is not a good sign for UND, as we see an athletic trainer right there. But she makes her way up, she gets up, and she's all smiles right there. So I guess it was just a little fluke.
A little
shimmy or something. I don't know what you want to call it.
That's possibly just a little knee pop in a weird position injury. I've had those happen to me before in ballet, and man, for a second there, it's got you thinking it's game over, but it's good to see her up, walking under her own power.
Yeah, she has had some injuries last season with that knee, but it looks like she is all good. She's currently talking to one of the assistant coaches. It looks like she will step aside. Mark Mitchell's like, I'm not going to jinx it and risk the biscuit. So Liv Becker will shoot the free throws in place of that. And Liv Becker, as I mentioned, she's 4th in the GLVC when it comes to free throw percentage and 4th when it comes to three-point percentage as well. She's also the team's leader in three-point field goals. She sinks the first, sinks the second. Now 69-66, 3 points lead, 1:24 left to play in this game.
I mean, Giselle, we got to get on our feet for this.
Oof, oof. Ellie Weltha was able to get that.
You just had to call her out.
Layup.
Get her warmed up.
I guess so. I guess my criticism worked in her favor. She might have heard us from down on the court. Now we're reaching 58 seconds left of this game. Liv Becker from downtown. Oh, just too strong. Rebounded by Fanning, as Fanning does get her 9th rebound of the game. 37 left to play. Theo Dean is going to call a timeout, and we're going to step aside. You're watching Greyhound basketball here on UND TV and the GLVC Sports Network.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
Truman 68, 33 seconds left in this game. It's down to the wire. This is it. It's been, I keep saying it, it's just been a truly just fun game to watch.
Absolutely.
Absolutely all night. We're seeing more people turn out. They're on their feet. It's just a great matchup between both these teams. Ooh, and the pass was deflected by Wells. She goes for the layup and putting a stamp on that right there. Timeout is called. Look at that right there. Oh my goodness. Talk about that defense right there. You mentioned she's not scared to. She's not scared to go for it right there.
Man, if I had words right now, I'd say them. If I had words right now, I would say them. But one thing I can say is holy cow. Holy moly, holy cow. That was an insane, like, what, like 6 seconds that we just saw there?
And it looked like, too, on that possession, it looked like Bellinger was going to pass it to the girls. Like, I mean, look at this right there.
Oh, my goodness.
Easy right there. See that person behind her? She's just clapping her hands.
That was amazing. And another thing that really stuck that out to me is that was one of those passes where, at this point in the game, not the kind of pass you want to take, lobbing it over the top of the entire side of the court. It's just not a smart pass by Truman State, and that might be the play that puts the pin in this game.
Yeah, because it looked like on that other possession, Bellinger was going to pass it to Rake or Weltha. They were kind of wide open, but UND put a stop to that. It's going to be Truman's ball, as that ball was deflected out of bounds. So that kind of works in Truman's favor. 17 seconds, they could get something going. But Theo Dean, you know what? I'm going to take a timeout, and so are we. You're watching Greyhound basketball here on UND TV and the GLPC Sports Network.
Award-winning news coverage. brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. We have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UIndy TV News.
All right, back here at Nickerson Hall on that last possession, the ball was tipped by UIndy out of bounds, so it is going to go the other way for Truman. Theo Dean called a timeout for the Bulldogs. Stuger looking for her options, finds Weltha. Looks like there's going to be a foul drawn. It was kind of a little too close right there.
Oh, it's good. This is the game the Greyhounds are going to play here at the end. They know that they've put Truman State into the bonus, so the best decision here is going to be shoot the ball, let them shoot free throws, get possession back, try and score again, repeat the process as long as it takes to run the clock out.
Love your analysis right there, Maddie.
Thank you.
As Sadie Hill is going to check into the game, out is Williams Harris. Weltha going to the free throw line. She sinks the first.
Yeah, this one.
Everybody's booing. I hear some booing from the other side, some Greyhound fans. Sadie Hill got the rebound, but it's going to be another timeout on the floor. We're going to take time to step aside. You're watching Greyhound basketball here on UIndy TV and the GLBC Sports Network.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
Back here at Nickerson Hall, UIndy with a 2-point lead, 15.9 seconds remaining. And Maddie, you mentioned it earlier, but I want to hear it again. Now that UIndy has a 2-point lead, you're Mark Mitchell. Do your best Mark Mitchell impression.
I'm not going to do that, but here's what I'm going to tell them right now. We are at a point in the game where we have got just under 16 seconds left. Truman State is now in the bonus. So what you're going to do is anytime they get possession, you're going to foul them immediately. Send them to the line to shoot. When you get the ball back, make something out of it. That is now the game, to run the clock out. And it looks like Truman State is looking to play the same game as well. I think we're going to go back and forth with the free throw shooting, and it's going to be a real testament of who looks good by the charity stripe. But still, the Greyhounds are not in the bonus yet, so I'm expecting to see Truman State pull another foul out so that they have the same kind of position that the Greyhounds have been in.
Trying to find somebody. Becker just fell on the floor. Ellie Weltha is going to be called with the foul. Then Liv Becker, one of the top free throw shooters for this UIndy team, is going to go to the line. Lauren Witt is going to check back into the game for the Greyhounds, probably to get some of those boards going.
Yeah, get some support under the basket. She's got the height on the court tonight.
Becker's been playing 23 minutes so far in today's contest. 2 rebounds, 3 assists. She does have 4 fouls. Now she has 6 points so far. Now Mullins is going to check into the game. Out is Becker. Weltha's going to inbound the ball, and we're going to see that. We're going to see that full court press.
And a tough full court press that is.
Stuger passes it to Rake. Rake shoots it from 3. And now UIndy still has the 1-point lead, but now it's down to 1 point. And on that moment, we're going to step aside.
Oh my gosh, ladies, what a tight game. If you're still with us during these 7 seconds, you do not want to miss Please stay tuned because at this point we don't know what else can happen in 7 seconds. 73-72. Let's stay tuned. Back to you, girls.
Oh my gosh, Leticia, you said it perfectly. What can it happen at this point? Actually, a lot can happen at this point. So now we've got timeout. If I'm remembering correctly, possession is going to remain with Truman State, or is it going to swap?
I believe it might swap because they made
they just
that
shot
three.
that three.
So I think it is going to go to UND's.
Yeah, possession arrow hasn't changed yet. I was just checking to make sure I'm not going crazy because this game's got me going a little crazy.
This game has been full of surprises,
Absolutely.
Maddie.
So my only fear at this point is now they allowed them to shoot that three. Both teams in the bonus. What Mark Mitchell's probably letting his girls know, he's like, hey, they may try to reach in here, send you to the line to shoot, take the ball, and do what we've kind of been doing to them for the last couple seconds, which was that foul out game. So now more than ever, I mean, Mark Mitchell's giving the most pep of uplifting talks probably ever.
Yes, and as you mentioned, the free throw lines, let's take a look at the stats here today. Truman's been 14 of 21 from behind the charity stripe compared to UND's 8 and 10, excuse me.
Yeah, the Greyhounds haven't shot too much from the line, but most of them have come from Liv Becker.
And that's going to be a foul on Wealtha right there, and that's going to send Jody Mullins to the charity stripe. The refs telling somebody's got to be down at the end.
They're telling Truman State you have to have at least 2 girls down to even out shooting from the free throw line.
Mullins drains the first 2-point game. Drains the second. Now it is a 3-point game. 6 seconds left. Wealtha finds Stugart. Stugart going past Scheidt. She forces up in. Rebounded by Wealtha. And that will be all she wrote right there. This game was just from start to finish, Maddie, just full of surprises. Wow. And we'll hear from head coach Mark Mitchell in a minute. I can't wait to hear what he's had to say with our sideline reporter, Leticia Vaselli. But my, oh my, everybody's up on our feet.
I mean, this has to be the most perfect all-female broadcast ever.
Yes.
This has been, to get such an incredible matchup, such a high-scoring game, such an electric game.
Yes.
And now we get to hear from the man dripping in white himself. Oh, man.
And on that moment, we'll step on the sidelines with Leticia Vaselli as she has head coach Mark Mitchell. Leticia, the floor is yours, girl.
Hello, ladies. And for our final part of the women's only broadcast, I'm here with head coach Mark Mitchell. Coach, I was at the November game when you guys went up to Truman State and when you guys unfortunately lost. How was it different to play at home than in Missouri?
I mean, you know, any road game is a tough game. You got to travel and things like that. Road games are tough. I think we played them real tough up at Truman for 30 minutes. We just didn't play a great fourth quarter up there.
What would you say was the biggest reason why you guys took the win today?
I think we just played hard. I mean, we made multiple mistakes. We didn't shoot the ball great. But I think at the end, I just think that we just played hard for the entire game.
And, Coach, I'm going to mention Idalise Ortiz. She was the leader of this game in points, and she actually had a percentage of 70%, which is really great. What made her play so well today?
I think she's just real confident in herself. Coaching staff were giving her confidence, telling her just play within yourself, play composed, and she just really played a real cerebral game for us tonight.
And lastly, Coach, looking ahead to the game this Saturday with Quincy, what are some improvements you can make?
Well, I just want to take care of the ball a little bit better, make better decisions on the offensive side. But I think if we just play hard, I think we're in every game.
Thank you so much, Coach. Congratulations. You look sharp today. Ladies, for one last time reporting here for the Women's Only broadcast, I'm Leticia Vaselli. Back to you guys.
All right, great interview, Leticia. And when we return, closing remarks when we return. You're watching Greyhound Basketball on UND TV and the GLVC Sports Network.
award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. We have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UIndy TV News.
We just want to say thank you so much for everybody tuning in to our first ever all-female women's broadcast in UIndy TV history. We could not have done it without these beautiful ladies. The final score, UIndy does get a win, and we get a win as well. So for Hannah Hurley, Leticia Vaselli, Maddie Fisher, I got goosebumps right now, Grayson Holt, Adriana Odeja, Dream Scott, can't talk. I'm kind of getting a little emotional right now. It's so crazy. Binks Puente. Alima Jones. Oh my God, I have so many emotions going through my head right now. I'm Giselle Valentine saying, ladies, we did that.